Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Mr. Language. I'm your host, Mr. Language, and today I'm joined again by my good friend, Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mr. Language. I'm so excited about today's topic. Honestly, this one brings back so many memories for me because I struggled with it a lot when I first started learning English.
Yes, me too. And I think every learner has the same experience. You spend years studying English. You feel pretty confident. And then one day you sit down to watch a movie without subtitles. And suddenly you understand nothing. It's like you're hearing a completely different language.
Exactly. I remember the first time I tried watching a Hollywood film in English. I thought it would be easy, but I quickly realized I was only catching random words like yeah, no, and okay. The rest just passed by like waves of sound. I felt so frustrated.
And that frustration is so common. But the important thing to remember is it's not your fault. Movies are not made for learners. They're made for native speakers. And that's why they're so tough. But also, movies are one of the best tools to improve your listening if you approach them the right way.
That's true. When I look back now, I see that those moments of frustration actually pushed me to learn more. But back then, it felt like a failure. I kept asking myself, why can I read books and understand my teacher but not understand this film?
Yes, and that's the big mystery we'll solve today. So, let's talk about the main reasons learners don't understand movies. First of all, speed. Native speakers in movies talk incredibly fast compared to what you hear in class. In textbooks, you read going to. In a classroom, you hear going to. But in a movie, you hear going to.
And sometimes even faster. I remember hearing "whatcha gonna do." I had no idea it meant, "What are you going to do?" It just sounded like one long word.
Exactly. That's because of connected speech. English speakers often connect sounds together. For example, did you eat becomes did ya eat, or don't you know becomes don't you know? If you're not used to hearing those reductions, you feel lost even though you technically know the words.
Yes, and that happened to me so many times. I once heard a character say lem, and I thought it was a new word. Later I realized it was just let me. The funny thing is, once you know these shortcuts, you start hearing them everywhere.
That's so true. The second reason learners struggle is slang and idioms. Movies are full of informal language that never appears in textbooks. In your lessons, you learn, I am very tired. In a movie, you hear, I'm beat. Or in school, you learn, that's unfair. But in a movie, someone says, that sucks.
Yes. I remember the first time I heard, no worries. I thought it meant, there are no problems in the world. But actually, it just means, that's okay. Or when a character said, he ditched me, I thought it was about throwing garbage because I knew ditch as a hole in the ground. But it actually meant, he left me suddenly.
That's a great example. Slang is like a secret language, and if you don't know it, you feel completely lost. Idioms are another nightmare. Like when someone says, he spilled the beans. If you translate literally, you imagine beans on the floor. But the real meaning is, he revealed a secret.
Yes, I had that with break a leg. I honestly thought it was a terrible thing to say, like wishing someone to get hurt. But of course, it means good luck. That's when I realized movies don't just teach English, they also teach culture.
Exactly. And culture is a third reason movies are tough. They're full of cultural references, jokes, sarcasm, history, even politics. For example, if a character says, "May the Force be with you," Americans immediately think of Star Wars. But if you don't know the movie, it just sounds like a strange blessing.
Yes, or when people say, Houston, we have a problem. That's from American space history. I didn't know it, so I thought they just had an actual problem in Houston. Everyone laughed, and I was confused.
And then there's the background noise. Movies have music, sound effects, explosions, traffic, people talking at the same time. In an action scene, you might have two characters shouting while cars are crashing around them. No wonder it's difficult. Even native speakers sometimes put subtitles on.
I do too. Honestly, even now, I sometimes use subtitles when I watch shows in English, especially when the accents are strong. I remember watching a Scottish film once, and I needed subtitles even though I already speak English.
That's a great point. Accents are another huge challenge. In school, you usually hear standard British or American English, but movies have Australian accents, Irish accents, New York accents, Southern accents. Imagine hearing, "How you doing?" instead of "How are you doing?" It feels like a whole new language.
Yes, I once heard an Australian character say arvo. I had no idea it meant afternoon. I thought it was a person's name.
That's a classic. So, to sum up so far, speed, connected speech, slang, idioms, culture, noise, and accents. No wonder learners feel frustrated. But the good news is, there are solutions.
Yes, and I think one of the best tips is to use subtitles wisely. At first, watch with subtitles in your own language, then switch to English subtitles. Finally, when you're ready, try watching without subtitles. It's like training wheels, you don't take them off on the first day.
Exactly. And you don't have to understand everything. Even understanding 50% is progress. Another tip is to focus on short scenes. Don't try to understand a 2-hour movie all at once. Choose a 2-minute clip, replay it, listen carefully, maybe even write down what you hear.
Yes, I used to do that with sitcoms. I'd pick a funny scene, watch it with subtitles, then watch it again without. I even repeated the lines out loud, copying the actors. That's called shadowing, right?
Yes, shadowing. It's one of the best methods. By repeating the lines, you improve not only your listening, but also your speaking rhythm and pronunciation. Imagine copying Joey from Friends saying, "How you doing?" You suddenly sound more natural.
That's true. I practiced that line so many times, and then one day I said it to a friend, and she laughed because it sounded so real. It gave me a lot of confidence.
Confidence is key. Another tip is to choose the right movies. Don't start with heavy dramas or Shakespearean language. Try animated movies, teen dramas, or sitcoms. They use everyday vocabulary. Animated films especially are designed for a wide audience, so the pronunciation is clearer.
Yes, and sitcoms are great because they repeat situations. For example, in Friends, you hear the same expressions many times. After a while, you can almost predict what they'll say. That repetition really helps.
Exactly. And once you start noticing patterns, movies become much less scary. Another tip is to learn a small set of common slang expressions before watching. Words like cool, awesome, no way, whatever. Seriously, you gotta be kidding. Once you know them, you'll hear them everywhere, and suddenly the dialogue makes more sense.
That's so true. I still remember the first time I recognized "what's up" instead of "how are you." I felt like I had unlocked a secret door into real English.
Yes! And sometimes misunderstandings can be funny too. Do you remember any Anna?
Oh yes, one time I watched a movie where a character said, "I'll crash at your place tonight." I thought he was going to literally break something in the apartment. I imagined him smashing into the furniture. Later I learned it just means sleep at your house.
That's a great one. I had a student who thought hang out meant to hang clothes outside. So when the movie character said, "Let's hang out," the student imagined them doing laundry together.
That's hilarious. And you know, these misunderstandings might be embarrassing at first, but they're also memorable. You never forget them, and that helps you learn.
Absolutely. Mistakes and confusion are part of the learning journey. The important thing is not to give up. Remember, even native speakers sometimes miss lines in movies. The difference is They don't panic. They just keep watching.
Yes, and I think learners should also give themselves permission to enjoy the movie, even if they don't understand everything. You don't have to translate every word. Sometimes it's enough to follow the story, the emotions, the actions. The details will come later.
Exactly. And every time you watch, you improve a little more. At first, maybe you understand 20%. After a few months of practice, maybe 40%, then 60%. And eventually, you'll sit down and enjoy a movie without subtitles. It's a process.
And the best part is, it's fun. You're learning English while laughing, crying, being scared, or feeling excited. It doesn't feel like homework. It feels like entertainment.
That's the magic of movies. So, learners, don't be discouraged. You're not alone. Everyone struggles at first. But with practice, patience, and the right strategies, movies can become your best teacher.
Yes, and now we want to hear from you. Do you also find movies difficult to understand? What's the hardest part for you? Fast speech, slang, cultural jokes, or accents? Tell us in the comments.
And let us know your favorite English movie. Maybe we'll choose one and analyze it together in a future episode.
That would be fun. And don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like, and share it with a friend who's also learning English.
Thank you for joining us today. Keep watching, keep practicing, and remember every movie is a lesson.
This is Anna and Mr. Language saying goodbye for now. See you next time.